And it's been nearly 2.5 months since the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol had a hearing, and the panel is now slated to hold what is expected to be their final hearing at 1 p.m. Eastern. They intend to focus on former President Trump's state of mind leading up to and during the attack. ABC's Ike Kajachi joins me live from the Capitol now for more on that. Ike, the committee says there will be no live witnesses, but new witness testimony will be aired. So what can we expect?
Well, Diane, the committee has held several closed-door interviews since the last hearing. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, just to name a few. Expect to see some experts from those interviews at the hearing later today, as well as other witnesses who's testified to the panel. Now, last month, the committee interviewed Ginny Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, about her efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Now, that interview wasn't videotaped. There's only a transcription available. If we do hear more information related to Thomas, expect it just to be quotes. Now, we'll also see new documents, especially from the Secret Service. Remember, they responded to that July subpoena asked from the committee, asking them to turn over documents. They have those documents. They have those papers. We'll expect to see some of them from this hearing later today, Diane.
All right, Ike. And Congressman Adam Schiff, he sits on the committee. He told ABC News that he wants people to take away from their work, saying that January 6th was not a date in isolation. It was the violent culmination of multiple lines of efforts to overturn the election. So how do they intend to make that case today, to finalize that argument?
Well, Diane, this is the last day for the public hearings for the panel, and expect them to remind people who's watching about what they say is a multifaceted effort to overturn the 2020 election. They'll likely highlight former President Trump's pressure campaign, his pressure campaign on state and local officials. They'll highlight his pressure campaign on his own Vice President, Mike Pence, and they'll also talk about his pressure campaign on the Justice Department. And when that all failed, expect the panel to highlight the violent mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and they'll also show some new video evidence from that day, Diane.
Now, the big question, Ike, is whether the Justice Department will bring charges against former President Trump or his inner circle stemming from this investigation. What are the next steps after this final hearing, and is there any sense of how likely that is?
Well, Chairman Benny Thompson has always said the goal of this panel is to follow the facts, make recommendations to protect democracy, and then present those facts with the final report. Even after today, this final public hearing, the committee still has a lot of work to do, and there's still several big questions that remain to be asked. One of them, will they subpoena former President Donald Trump and former Vice President Mike Pence? Will they enforce the subpoenas that have already been issued to Republican congressmen who have failed to cooperate? And the big question is when or if will they make criminal recommendations to the Justice Department? All of those questions remain to be asked. And of course, this final report is expected to be handed out on December 5th, of course, after the midterm elections, Diane.
All right, Ike Kajachi, thanks for that. And we will have full coverage of the committee's hearing today, starting at noon Eastern, right here on ABC News Live.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.